So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to live stream number 8 of our F1 Manager 23 series here on the channel. Now it must be said, normally I am live streaming at this time, but other commitments have meant I'm not able to do that tonight. However, of course I have pre-recorded an episode for you. I hope you enjoy it and we'll be back to the live streams very soon. Right then guys, so if you didn't watch the last stream last Friday, go back and watch that one. But it must be said, it was the first time really in Barcelona that the Red Bulls absolutely dominated us. P1 and P2 for the Red Bulls, P3 for Charles Leclerc, P4 for Carlos Sainz. It wasn't a bad Grand Prix, but we have been very much up there and beating the Red Bulls in recent races, as can be seen by the standings of course. We are top of the Constructors on 309 points to 273. And in the Drivers' standings, Charles Leclerc is leading the way on 184 points from Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz in P3 and Checo Perez in P4. It's going to be between Red Bull and Ferrari all the way to the end of the season. But of course, this weekend we head to Montreal. 70 laps around here. Now, our car may suit this. If we have a look at the car attributes, we are the best at low speed cornering, we're good at top speed, and we've also got very good DRS effectiveness, probably the best on the grid. So I'm very excited for this weekend. Expect a strategy. You can try a one stop or a two stop. We'll of course bridge that when we get to the race. In terms of car parts developments, we've actually had a fire in the wind tunnel. If I just go back a little bit, we had a wind tunnel investigation which we've had to complete, so that's knocked back the car development. We are looking at getting some more car parts developed in the next ATR period, which begins very shortly. So that's all that sorted out. There isn't too much else apart from that to tell you, so I'm going to head into practice and I shall see you in qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Final laps in Q3. We have got a wet track and a wet weekend in store here in Canada. But as you can see, Charles Leclerc is purple through the first and second sectors. I think we've timed this to perfection. Charles Leclerc crosses the line. Where is he going to finish up? Charles Leclerc crosses the line and goes for pole position. Carlos Sainz is just coming through that final chicane. Could it possibly make it a Ferrari 1-2? It's Carlos Sainz up to the line. It's all eyes on the left-hand side as Carlos Sainz crosses the line and goes P3. As we look towards the end, it is going to be Charles Leclerc on pole position. What a lap that was, by the way. Carlos Sainz in P3. Verstappen is on the front row. Let's have a look at a very important strategy for Sunday. Who knew you could pronounce strategy as strategy? But here we go. Charles Leclerc starting in P1, Carlos Sainz in P3. It's looking very mixed. We're going to be starting on the intermediate tyre. I reckon we may even get to wets at some point, but then we should dry up towards the end and we should get to the soft compound tyre. So P1, P3, let's get into it.
70 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix await our drivers here in Montreal. A chance to see just what Charles Leclerc can achieve here.
They've got a fantastic opportunity starting on pole, but can they carry it through to the end?
And it'll be exciting to see just what will happen here today. This is it. We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out. And away we go.
And away we go. And Charles Leclerc got a lovely launch off the line, as did the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. And Charles Leclerc is going to be looking to make moves early doors here. Carlos Sainz still trying to fight with Verstappen, who just about holds on to P2. But Charles Leclerc will be looking to run away into the distance. As you can see, we have underfueled the cars, of course, because, of course, it's going to be raining. We are going to gain fuel back. So it made sense to do that. But immediately, Verstappen is getting a little bit boxed in with these two Ferraris as Carlos Sainz starts to push him a little bit wider. We ride on board from Carlos Sainz's point of view and looking down the TV angle. Carlos Sainz looks like he's going to get the job done here on Max Verstappen. They are still side by side as we go in towards sector 3. Verstappen just seems to have that little bit of extra pace at times, but as we come into this tight right-hander, Carlos Sainz chucked one down the inside of the Red Bull, and Carlos Sainz is past Max Verstappen. He is in to P2. He's going to be told not to bite his teammate early doors, but as we come towards the end of the lap 1, it is Charles Leclerc leading, Carlos Sainz in P2. But on lap 2, Max Verstappen has got Carlos Sainz back, and as we can see here, Carlos Sainz trying to cover off the inside, but Max Verstappen does manage to get past, and not only does Max Verstappen get past, very aggressive there from Max Verstappen, we also see Sergio Perez is past him as well. So Checo Perez, it's Leclerc leading, but Sainz dropping back. Just to bring you up to date on what's having a look at the strategy screen, we'll get past this highlight first. Checo Perez just got the run on him, and Carlos Sainz losing a little bit of pace here early doors in this Grand Prix. Checo Perez looking very racy indeed there in that Red Bull. But one thing I want to bring your attention to is the track details, because we are going to get to some significant wet weather. Then it's going to drop back to winters again, and then onto another set of wets before drying up completely. There's going to be a lot of pit stops in this race, and Max Verstappen is enjoying these wet weather conditions, because now he is past Charles Leclerc as well. Max Verstappen into turn 1 and 2, getting the job done, and that is looking pretty ominous. The Red Bulls look like they have some amazing pace. If we look behind, we can see an Alpine of Esteban Ocon fighting with Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz at the moment hasn't got the pace. Lap 3. You join us back, coming on to lap 11. Max Verstappen now 2 seconds in front of Charles Leclerc. He has got the pace at this moment in time as Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc down in P2, fighting with Checo Perez. Then comes Carlos Sainz in P4. Will people go for the wet weather tyre is something that I'm looking at. We're going to get around 10 laps where it should be about right for the wet, or will people stay for the inters? Going to be very, very interesting. We'll have a full rundown. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Ocon, Alonso in P6, Russell and Hamilton in P7 and 8, Gasly in P9, Lance Stroll in P10. And this is something we didn't want to happen. Checo Perez has got Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc defending, but not managing to defend enough. Checo Perez doing the business there, and he's now up into P2. Lap 20, and it must be said, not too much is happening in this Grand Prix, apart from Checo Perez is now leading as the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Leclerc in P3, but he's right on the back of the two Red Bulls. If we just ride on board with Charles Leclerc, he's having quite a nice drive around Canada at the minute. The rain, it must be said, has not really come down as we expected, so I think intermediates look like it's going to be this for possibly most of the race, but at the moment not a lot happening at all. The top 4 really breaking away. It must be said the top 3 really breaking away. Carlos Sainz hasn't got the pace of his teammate at this moment in time, but what that does allow is, if we do need to pit on the same lap, both Ferraris should be able to get in and out at the right time. So lap 20, nothing much has changed at all. It must be said Esteban Ocon, driver of the day so far in the Alpine, right at the back, Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas. We are expecting on the track details heavy
monsoon rain coming. Will we go to wets? We shall see.
Now, we've just had some of the first pit stops from Bottas and De Vries. De Vries going onto the wet weather tyre. Very interesting indeed. That would suggest that a lot of people are going to start coming in. Fernando Alonso is in for the wet weather tyres. I would suggest we're going to be coming in next lap. Let's just ride on board from Fernando's point of view as he comes into a very quiet pit lane here, and he's going onto the wets. Coming towards the end of lap 25, we are keeping a keen eye on the Red Bulls here. Are either of them going to pit? Perez does. Verstappen carries on. Leclerc does. Sainz comes into the pits. So Red Bull pit stop for Checo Perez. It doesn't look the quickest stop in the world. The Ferrari of Carlos Sainz is in as well. Let's have a look what happens here. Carlos Sainz in. Is it a good pit stop? 2.8 seconds. I would suggest that was quicker than the Red Bull one. Leclerc and Verstappen both continuing on. Lap 26, I'm guessing Verstappen and Leclerc are both going to be pitting. Verstappen comes in, as does Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz is in P6, pushing on at this moment in time, but this is a very, very key pit stop for the Ferrari boys. Into the pits comes Charles Leclerc onto the wet compounded tyre. He gets away well, but Verstappen does do a little bit better. He's got the preference in pit box, of course. Let's have a look where everyone ends up here. Perez is just coming down the start-finish straight. Leclerc and Verstappen trundling out. Is the undercut going to be a thing here? You would suggest not. And it looks like we are out in front. Are we? Perez, we are out in front. Verstappen and Leclerc, it's as you were. It is first for Verstappen, second Leclerc, fourth for Sainz, and third for Perez. Let's mix it up a little bit. Lap 29, Lewis Hamilton locking up into turn 13. I'm amazed, to be fair. We haven't had a safety car yet today, but Lewis Hamilton locking up there into the final chicane. I'm surprised Lewis Hamilton didn't just drive across it, because he does like cutting corners, doesn't he? That might get me a little bit of hate down in the comments. But Charles Leclerc is hanging onto the back of Verstappen beautifully. Perez is in P3. Sainz in at P4. If we just have a little look at the race strategy, we are expecting this to calm down around lap 38. That's when we should be back onto the inters. We will have another period on the wet compounder tyre, or we might just see it out until we get to the dries at the end. But at this moment in time, lap 29, Verstappen leads from Leclerc. There comes Perez, Sainz, Alonso, Russell in P6. I believe everybody's on the wet compounder tyre. They are. Ocon in P7, Stroll P8, Hamilton P9, Gasly in P10. Lap 30. Oh my goodness, Max Verstappen. I was just about to come back and say Max Verstappen is running away with this. But let's just have a look, because he's just locked up and carried on. Didn't manage to rejoin. There was Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen did for a moment get stuck, and I believe he's dropped down now all the way to P4. Charles Leclerc leads the Canadian Grand Prix from Checo Perez. 2.3 seconds is the gap, and it must be said now from the leader, Max Verstappen, 7 seconds back. We have got to get these pit stops absolutely right. Oh my word, the second Red Bull has then just gone and done this. Checo Perez in P2. Let's just have a look at what Checo Perez did into the final corner. Locks up, very similar to his teammate. Carlos Sainz goes past the Red Bull. It is now a Ferrari 1-2 in Canada. Lap 38, Charles Leclerc is coming in to the pits from the lead of the Grand Prix. If we just have a little look, it looks like the right time. It's going to be damp for a very long time now, and in comes Charles Leclerc. We need a good pit stop here. Charles Leclerc is there, and Carlos Sainz follows him through. That is possibly one of the best double stacks you are likely to see. We are now out on to the track, onto the optimal tyre. We have got fuel and tyres and ERS to burn. This could be a Ferrari masterclass here in Canada this afternoon. The two Red Bull drivers have not pit from the wet compounder tyre, and now the two Ferrari cars are on the back of them. This is really, really interesting. From the Red Bull cars, they do not seem to want to pit. The two Ferraris are past them, and now we should really be getting a move on, as we can see Charles Leclerc looking for a move on Max Verstappen. He can't quite get past yet, but we will do very shortly. And Charles Leclerc is past Max Verstappen. Look at this for a move. He's past Verstappen. Lovely move from the Ferrari. It has been Ferrari versus Red Bull all afternoon, but now those Ferraris are looking incredibly quick. I'm amazed that the Red Bulls haven't pit. Maybe they know something we don't, but at this moment in time, it's looking very, very ominous for the Red Bulls. And Carlos Sainz has followed his teammate through. Lovely work from Carlos. He's passed both Red Bulls. He's just got past Max Verstappen, and now he's looking to get past the other Red Bull as well. It's working very, very well for the Ferrari boys at this moment in time, and we are loving it. Verstappen now finally pits onto intermediate tyres. It's a little bit late, Max, it must be said. Lap 46. By the time Max Verstappen came out for that pit stop, he is now 23 seconds behind the leaders of Leclerc and Sainz. And what's more worrying for Red Bull is we have got the time to pit both cars on the same lap. It's incredibly bad from Red Bull. You just do not expect this. Lap 48, it's Leclerc from Sainz, then comes Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Alonso. Ocon is in P7, Ocon on the inters, Stroll, Hamilton and Gasly. Checo Perez is being left out to dry, lap 49. Right then guys, lap 55 and Max Verstappen was in for the wet compounder tyre. We've got a lot of cars pitting, and as much as I fancy taking a risk here and leaving us out, I think it makes sense for us to get onto the wet compounder tyre, get onto the right compound, and then we can just cover off the Red Bulls here. There should be no harm in that. If we just have a look at the strategy screen, we are going to have around 10 laps of this. We need to be on the wet compounder tyre, so both Ferraris in this lap. And into the pits comes Charles Leclerc. We need to ensure that we get these pit stops absolutely bob on today. And Charles Leclerc, it must be said, well, guys, look up for it a little bit. Oh, we're going to get a good pit stop for Charles Leclerc. We certainly are. 2.8 seconds. Then in comes Carlos Sainz. Once again, it looks like a good pit stop. My word, are we seeing these Ferrari pit stops? Ladies and gentlemen, they sub 3 seconds. We are doing everything right this afternoon. Look at this. Everybody is getting the pit stop practice that they want. But Leclerc and Sainz are now going to come out and really start motoring on once again. We have got 15 laps to go. It will be dry by the end. Lap 66, Max Verstappen is in once again for the intermediate tyres. You may have noticed the Ferrari pit crew are out because both Ferrari cars are going to be pitting this lap. We will just cut back to the map view and just speed Leclerc and Sainz round. Look at this, you're even getting behind the scenes map views. Charles Leclerc is coming in to the pits for his pit stop. We should have plenty enough in hand. And it's a bit of pit stop practice. We're doing the Max Verstappen thing at Canada. We're getting the pit stops in. Come on, boys. 2 more good pit stops, and we have got a 1-2. It's a good pit stop. It's 2.9 seconds for Charles Leclerc. In comes Carlos Sainz. Look at that jack, man. You couldn't even see him move. He was that quick there. And into the pits. It's a sub-3 second stop. Leclerc and Sainz have had the pit stops from heaven today, and this, ladies and gentlemen, as is the title for the video, is a Ferrari masterclass. I've just named it that because I've got the strategy or the strategy so correct today, and I don't mean to blow my own trumpet, but that doesn't happen a lot for Ferrari, does it, as we all know in real life? And this is it now. Sainz and Leclerc to the end. We are going to take no risks on these tyres. We can keep pushing on the fuel a little bit, but with 3 to go. Verstappen's in P3. Where is Checo Perez? Checo Perez down in P9 on the inters. He's going to gain some positions. The pit stops. Have you ever seen a busier pit lane than this on this video? 3 laps to go. Ferrari 1-2. Final lap of the Grand Prix for Charles Leclerc. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix for Charles Leclerc. And my word, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take you around this final lap because there is a lot of times on F1 Manager, and you'll know this if you play the game or you've even watched anybody, you can get the strategy completely wrong. But today, Ferrari have got this absolutely right. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, we've double stacked that many times, but because we're so slick with his pit stops, we've not double stacked, we've just got both cars in beautifully. That Carlos Sainz first one, he just drove straight in. Leclerc is leading from Carlos Sainz. He's on the back of, I believe that is this Esteban Ocon maybe? No, it's Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly is just giving us a little tow here. He's actually got out of the way as Pierre Gasly. We applaud that. If you're watching the Andretti save, you should be watching that. But Charles Leclerc, let's take a moment to enjoy this. My throat has been so bad all week, as you can hear my voice is going. We might not have got the fastest lap, but my word, did we get that strategy right. Charles Leclerc comes up to the line and wins the Canadian Grand Prix. What a race for Ferrari. Grazie ragazzi. Carlos Sainz comes home P2. We have got a Ferrari 1-2 in Canada. My word, has that been a... Oh my word, I'm so happy with that. So happy. I'm so unhappy that we're not streaming this live, but we'll be back to that very shortly. But that has been some race for Ferrari. My word, let's get to that podium.
Now isn't that the kind of drive we love to see from Charles Leclerc?
What a brilliant race that was for the team. They just did everything right. The driver included, of course.
The team has been waiting patiently there, and you can see just how much it means to each and every one of them. Out and onto the podium steps Charles Leclerc, the driver from Monaco, really deserving of that top 3 spot.
There's further delight for the team as they get to see both drivers up there together.
Plenty of smiles for the cameras as the drivers can let off some steam here in Montreal.
Max Verstappen is not a happy bunny, and probably because he's just been Max Verstappen. We beat Max Verstappen by 22 seconds. That doesn't happen a lot, ladies and gents. Charles Leclerc P1, Sainz P2, Verstappen P3, Russell P4. Very much in for driver of the day, and he got the fastest lap as well. Fair play to George Russell. Alonso P5, Ocon P6, then came Perez. Perez got hung out to dry by Red Bull. 8th for Hamilton, 9th for Stroll, and 10th for Pierre Gasly. My word. Driver standings wise, Charles Leclerc is top of the table, 209 points. He's 35 points in front of Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz closes the gap on Max Verstappen to 31 points and extends his lead over Checo Perez to 23. Constructor standings wise, we're on 352 points. Red Bull are on 294. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you do it. Please do like and subscribe. We will be back with a live stream shortly. I've got a couple of house moves and things going off in the next couple of weeks. But if not, we'll make sure we keep bringing the videos as well. And yeah, that's it, ladies and gents. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!